And on table one, here comes a three-time ranking event winner and World Championship semi-finalist. He made the quarters of the World Grand Prix back in 2020. He will relish this stage and the challenge tonight. So come on, Hong Kong, give it up for the Tyneside Terror, Gary Wilson. And finally, to a man who has made his home here in Hong Kong in recent years. He absolutely loves this city. Winner of 3 major titles already this season. The most decorated left-handed player in history. The ace in the pack, Judd Trump.
Well, Judd Trump, we know, loves the big stage, and this is certainly one of the biggest stages he would have played on here at the new Kai Tak Sports Arena in Hong Kong, the venue for the World Grand Prix. But now it's down to business. All the matches here, all the players are tough. It's the best players this season, the 32 informed players this season. And it's best of 7 to take on Jack Lisowski in the last 16. The night session on day 1 about to get underway.
Thank you. The first frame, Gary Wilson.
So Gary Wilson to get us underway in the opening frame of a possible 7, a huge arena here. Yeah, Judd Trump does have residency in Hong Kong as part of a scheme for sports people. And indeed, his girlfriend is from Hong Kong, so he spends a lot of time here. Feels at home. Let's see if he feels at home on the table today. He loves this tournament. He's been in 5 finals out of 10 appearances and won it 3 times and knocks in the first red. He's only ever lost once in the first round of the World Grand Prix. That was back in 2018. Neal Foulds alongside me. And, well, what an occasion. What a great venue.
Yeah, terrific, isn't it? And the walk-ons and the introductions were very good. Very excited crowd. Best players in the world here. What more could you want? I think if you're one of the leading players, you know, you do not want to fall at this first hurdle, and it's pretty obvious, but a best of 7 match. We saw Mark Williams beaten, and Sean Murphy, well, he could have been beaten. He only won by the odd frame. It would be a disappointment in an event like this to be beaten so early, and Judd is in the same position here, and all of the players are in good form, hence the reason they're playing. Adds a little bit of spice to a short match.
Judd Trump, 5.
I feel that would have gone in last week in Yushan, but the pockets are not playing that generously here. They shouldn't, of course.
That's a good point. I have to say, having seen the first session, I felt that the pockets were more in keeping with you know, the standardisation that they're meant to be. Templates and all this put into the pockets. They seem better all round. And what can we expect from Gary Wilson is the next question, because at his best, he's an absolutely brilliant player. Can't say it's been his greatest season, but it's been good enough to get him here. In recent matches, body language not always been ideal, but I'm a big fan of his game.
Yeah, he got in, it was effectively the last place 32nd. He got to quarters at the International Championship, which was a big money event, and has won matches here and there, but not been a great campaign by any means. And as you say, recent form hasn't been particularly good. Lost his opening match, well, in fact, it was his second match at the World Open last week to Daniel Wells in a decider. But that was out on one of the back tables. This is centre stage, and Gary Wilson, he doesn't fear playing the very top players at all, because he's a 3-time ranking event winner in his own right. Yes,
and when you see the head-to-heads, it is 2-1 to Judd. But of course, there was one absolutely mammoth match in there, which was the World Championship semi-final 2019, the year that Judd eventually became champion. 17-11 to Trump. So that is, well, the second biggest match in snooker after the final. Well, that's my opinion anyway. Maybe the Saudi event in some people's eyes, but it was a big occasion, of course. The one table set up at the Crucible.
You'll hear us talk about the various permutations, getting in the Players' Championship, Tour Championship, Crucible. None of that applies to Trump. He's got all of that nailed down. The only thing in the background for him, I guess, is century breaks. Because if he makes another 21 this season, he'll earn that £100,000 bonus for making 100 in a season. He's on 79, so clearly wants to avoid an early exit and hopefully start making a few. We've had 3 so far to date.
Yes, I think that was the point you were raising last week. While he was in the event in Yushan, of course, he was going to add to the centuries, but the fact that he was beaten fairly early put a stop to all of that.
Meanwhile, Gary Wilson does have other things in the background. He needs to reach the final here to get in the Players' Championship, and his current Crucible seeding projected is 15th, so he's seeded at the moment, but that can change, of course, if he doesn't get in the Players and the Tour Championship. Other players can go past him, and he might have to go to qualifying.
Foul. Lewis. Judd Trump 4.
Tatiana Wollaston in charge here. Of course, Ben, her husband, was beaten narrowly by Sean Murphy an hour or so ago. Wilson got very close here first time.
Yes, he kind of went in behind the 2 reds, didn't he, without hitting one. This is a little pace here, and no problem. But best of 7, we're used to it in this format, but these are big events, but clearly it's not a long match. It's never really affected Trump, but you have to be off the mark quickly. Obviously, the first 2 best of 7s on this table, they went on for a long time, so they can be long matches, but generally you feel that, an hour's snooker can see you knocked out if your opponent knocks all the pots in.
Trump actually won the first World Grand Prix in 2015. It was played in Llandudno. He won it again in 2019 and at the end of 2020, and has been runner-up the last 2 years as well. So 5 finals from 10 appearances. But I think the fact he's come here to this huge arena will really inspire him. He's talked before about how he wants snooker to become a bit more international and sort of bigger in general, and this certainly ticks those boxes.
Don't think Judd Trump will give anything but respect to Gary Wilson, though. I keep saying it, but he is at his best. He's a pretty devastating player, Wilson, and you feel that at some point his form is going to return. He's picked up 3 ranking tournaments in, 15 months. Home Nations events, Scottish twice and the Welsh. So at some point he's going to find that form. Of course, Judd does not want it to be today, but he's a very capable player, Wilson. Well, I mean, if the red that's close to the pocket was hanging over the pocket, it would be an easy plant, but it's not quite. It's missable. I didn't think the cue ball would ever go in that right corner, though, instead of the red. Hard to think how that was going to happen in advance of it. So, red's over both corner pockets, cue ball in hand, looks a good chance, but getting onto a colour, as you can see, is a concern, it's a problem. At least in potting this red, the black will then be pottable into the same pocket.
One.
But from there, it's not great. It's hard to think could have finished any worse. He's got a risky shot on the yellow, perhaps, if he wants to pot one. He's got to play it, surely, with the red over the pocket, hasn't he? And it could easily be missed, this. Good shot. It's important that Wilson stamps an early mark on this match, I feel. He's playing somebody that's very well liked here in Hong Kong. Judd, his second home. He's got to try and, if you like, silence the crowd and show his best form. Oh, this is not a nice shot. These are very tricky to find the angle on this black if he plays it. You know, this is, you're not really able to see the opening of the pocket here. And there's a lot resting on it in frame one, I feel, this shot.
Gary Wilson 4.
As it set off, it looked good, but hasn't dropped. Heard the big gasp from the audience.
One.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, how's he finished there? He's not on any colour to hit one even. Can't even hit the pink. Can he swerve around to get to the black? It's a nightmare scenario where he's finished here. Even Judd, who's normally got an answer for anything, looks a little bit shocked, actually. I don't think he can play off the cushion and pot the black. He's going to have to play a low-value colour. It doesn't look as if he's in a lot of trouble, however, because even if he doesn't
Yellow ball.
keep it safe from the reds, not many reds pop with the black where it is.
Foul. Miss. Judd Trump 1. Gary Wilson 4. Yellow ball. Foul.
Well, it must be a surprise that he's missed it twice, actually. He's obviously not... He's thinking that the cue ball is going to slide off that cushion. Day one table, pockets and cushions usually slide a bit instead of gripping the cushion, but they're doing it better than Judd thought anyway. They're gripping, so he'll go a bit lower on the cushion than the first two efforts, and you'd be really surprised if he was to miss again.
Yellow ball.
But they're sort of squaring a bit off the cushion rails.
Gary Wilson's actually lost his opening match in 10 tournaments this season. Not all ranking events, but it just shows you've done well to get in this, really. Won his World Open qualifier just before Christmas, but then he lost in the Masters. He lost in the German Masters, he lost in the Welsh Open, then he lost in the World Open itself. So outside of the Championship League, he's not actually won a match this year, 2025.
Well, you could envisage a scene here where all the reds end up on top of the black, couldn't you? There's not really any way around it for the players. He's going to be looking for the thinnest of edges, perhaps, on that left-hand red. It's not an easy shot to play this. You could miss this altogether if you're not careful. Oh, he's played it beautifully, hasn't he? That's ever such a good shot.
A reminder that John Higgins is playing Ali Carter on table 2. It's live on Discovery Plus, and of course Higgins just a couple of days on from that terrific victory at the World Open, his 32nd world ranking title. Carter, of course, was a semi-finalist there. Well, that's ended the impasse with the black. It's gone in.
Funny, it always looked like that was that safety shot was going to go very close to the black anyway, and it did. Yeah, the John Higgins win, of course, very momentous the other day. I wonder how he'll play today. Combination of... Oh, great shot from Judd. I mean, John could play brilliantly again, brimming with confidence, or he might get a reaction over there. Be interesting to find out. In the meantime, the mistake of Wilson's might be significant, because it's a good chance now. Although he's not perfectly on this red.
8.
This is only the second ranking event ever staged in Hong Kong. The first was the 1989 Hong Kong Open, and it was won by Maike 1 week exactly before Judd Trump was born, in 1989 in August.
Yeah, well, people might not know about that event, Dave. It wasn't even meant to be in Hong Kong. Yeah. It was actually meant to be played in Australia. We played qualifiers. It was the Australian Open. It was rebadged.
Yeah, there was a bit of doubt cast about maybe the alleged promoter of that Australian Open, but anyway, wasn't the worst sort of replacement venue, I guess.
No, we didn't mind being there for that terrific event, of course. Great atmosphere at the old Queen Elizabeth Stadium, which hosted a lot of big events back then in snooker.
22.
I know one thing, the crowd here in a couple of days' time would be excited to see Trump play Lazowski.
Well, he's on the red. I don't think he'd be delighted with that last shot, but all is forgiven if this goes in.
Judd Trump, 28.
Played it without a great deal of confidence, actually, in the end, because he was worried about missing it, I think.
1. Eight. 9.
So, the damage from that knocking the blacking was not particularly costly. Gary Wilson banging the frame now. If he's going to hold for the black, he's got to play this gently because that red above the cue ball could get in the way. And he's got a nice touch, Gary Wilson. It's a better shot than it looked, playing it with backspin slowly to hold.
24.
Obviously the real important shots of the frame are yet to come with those 3 reds slightly awkwardly placed.
$25. 32. 33. 40. 41.
Lovely shot, and the perfect shot to get in behind that red. He's kind of made mincemeat of these. The balls are awkward, and there's one more big shot to play, the red down the cushion. Well, the problem he's got, he'd like to play on the black because that would mean 27 in it with the red and the black from here, and that would mean Judd could tie. But that really wouldn't make it easy to get onto the yellow.
49.
So this is a very big shot. He's going to play the pot it and get on the yellow here. This is almost do or die as the dignitaries watch on.
49. Just one red. The red is missing.
Well, he kind of, if the scores are correct, I heard Tatiana just querying that, if those scores are correct, which we assume they are.
56.
The best without penalties Judd can hope for is a respot.
Gary Wilson.
Well, that was an excellent contribution, and that is a very good shot to end it. Very good start for Gary Wilson. If he can convert this and win the first frame, a player who's not shown much confidence lately might just get it all back today if he could get a win against Judd. So, here's his opportunity, and it's a brilliant one to win frame one.
Yeah, and as I say, I think Gary, you know, some of those matches I mentioned that he lost, you know, they were a little bit under the radar. He would enjoy coming out here onto the main stage. All those finals he won, the 3 ranking finals, he won them all easily. He seemed to play his best snooker in those tournaments right at the end.
5.
2 quarter-finals, his best performance in the World Grand Prix, most recently last year, where Ronnie O'Sullivan beat him.
9. 14. 20.
So when he failed to pop the black to this pocket earlier, that tricky little cutback, he may have thought he could be in trouble, but in the end, it didn't matter. He has won the frame. He made a good 56 amongst it all. And we're off and running for the night session on day 1. Gary Wilson leads Judd Trump 1-0.
Second frame. Judd Trump to break. Take your seats, please. Thank you.
Judd Trump gets frame 2 underway, trailing Gary Wilson here 1-0. It's only best of 7, so these matches, you're on your toes really from the off. Short matches. John Higgins has won the opener against Ali Carter on table 2.
This is not the kind of range you want to leave Judd Trump with his hand on the table.
One.
It's going to have to be the pink to left middle. I have a feeling that something just put him off there in his eye line, because he got down for the shot and he and referee Tatiana Willison looked across, someone perhaps moving. But yeah, I think when you're playing Judd Trump, the safety's got to be immaculate, because at his best he'll just devour a long red like that, which of course wasn't simple. Balls are very well set here, though.
Eight.
Just crept in. I don't think that red above the black is a great hindrance, as you can see. It absolutely flies into that same pocket, so there's no reason why it'll be a problem.
Well, frame 1, it was noticeable that blue, pink and black all sort of went into awkward spots early, but this is more prime scoring territory for Trump.
He could try and nudge the bunch here. Yeah, I think with red sticking out already, he felt that even if the split on the bunch didn't quite work out, he was going to be on something else, and he was.
24.
Lost round 3 of the World Open last week to Joe O'Connor, who was playing so well, of course. Didn't play the Welsh Open the week before, and lost last 16 of the German Masters just prior to that. But of course, this season he won in Shanghai, the big invitation event there. He won 31. The new ranking event in Saudi Arabia. He won the UK Championship.
32.
A couple of other finals as well. He lost, of course, to Karen Wilson, Jan Grand Prix and Northern Ireland Open.
$39. 40. 47.
Well, he's not perfectly on this red because the angle of the pot takes him towards the 5 reds. If he plays with topspin, he'll avoid them. He's not sure to be on the black here. The potential for a red to get in the way. That's
48.
fine. It's a good response because frame 1, quite honestly, he was in first and I felt he would win it with that chance.
55.
Wilson did well and it might have just rattled Trump's cage a bit as if to say, right, and now I'm going to have to play well to win this match. And he's going about it here. Doesn't have to go into the 5 reds this time because the top left-hand red seems to pop to the same pocket as the black. That's what he played on. Has he gone far enough?
63.
Slight problem here. If he's got this shot, he's got to play over the top of the bunch. Missable. Oh, played it ever so well. Confidently.
So this red becomes frame ball. Good response
69.
after losing the opening frame. The high break prize is £10,000. We've had 3 centuries so far. Jan Gander's 112, the highest of the first session. But I mentioned also, regardless of the high break, Trump, of course, hunting 21 more centuries this season to land that £100,000 bonus.
77.
Yeah,
78.
the break prize of 10,000. It'll be 140 plus. I'll be amazed if there's anything below that wins it.
Well, a great chance here, isn't there, to set a really good target.
86.
Indeed. I mean, 144, but it looks as if that's going to be less than that already because he won't be playing on the black here, I don't think.
93. $94.
Well, it's been a delightful break. And blue and red, it'll be his 80th century this season. That's one more than the whole of last season. There's so much snooker still to play
99.
in this campaign. 20 more he needs, 20 more centuries for the £100,000 bonus.
$107.
He's going to have to force this around the angles to get from black to yellow. Pretty good. Yes, he'll be a good, I mean, 142. He's not made it yet, but it would be it's a good benchmark, I think, for the high break prize. I suspect that might get beaten as well, but it would be a healthy target for someone to beat anyhow.
$120. $124.
Cue ball around the houses here.
129.
Played with good control though, that shot, and look at where he's finished. I mean, it's pretty decent, although again the cue ball will be doing the rounds here. Screwing across, I think black to left corner is the idea.
135.
It's been a fabulous break, this, just the final act really of it.
Yeah, the black to complete a 142 total clearance. Magnificent from Judd, an early front runner for the tournament high break, and a great response after losing the opening frame. It's one each. So Gary Wilson gets frame 3 underway. Judd Trump's just made a 142 to level this match at 1 each. First of 4 will play Jan Lazowski. In the last 16 of the World Grand Prix, Wilson's left a chance at a long red.
Over to Gary Wilson then to respond to that total clearance.
Well, Ali Carter has just made a 137 against John Higgins, and he may think, well, that's a good target for the high break. He won't know Trump's made a 142, but anyway, he's levelled up at 1 each. Didn't mean to just clip the black ball. I think it still passed, but he's slightly stopped the cue ball from being straight on the black to get on the next red. So unless he can engineer a way into the bunch of reds here, you know, it's hard to think this break will go anywhere unless he plays a big shot. Playing it forcefully. Around the angles. I assume he meant that. I wonder if he tried to hit the edge of the bunch. I think he played what he kind of got, really, but slightly annoyed, no doubt, that he just clipped the black on the way through from the previous red. It stopped him.
these two players do not hang around when they're in. Both very fluent players.
Yeah, Judd Trump, 10th on the average shot times for the season. Just under 21 seconds a shot for the whole campaign. And Gary Wilson is 22nd on that list, just under 22, so pretty speedy.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised that Wilson was not a little higher than that on the list, but I figured that when he's playing well, which he hasn't really this season, you know, he would be even quicker than that. I think he'd be in the top 10 or 12 of the most fluent, but that comes, you know, with being in form, I suppose. Just dropping into these, it should be okay second time. Well, it looks a bit short of pace again, so attempt 3 will not be that shot because he'll be warned by Tatiana Wollaston about the 3 strikes rule. So if he doesn't hit one on the third go, then the frame will be over. So he'll be playing something different. You can be certain of that.
Judd, okay. Gary, have to give you a warning. Call a miss for the third time, you lose the frame.
Very good referee, I think, Tatiana Wollaston. Just does the job very efficiently, and certainly one of the better referees around, in my view. I was going to say it goes unnoticed, but of course not really the most important thing, but generally officials who do the job, you don't really pay a lot of attention to how they're doing it, are doing it very well.
Well, where's the cue ball going? We should say happy birthday to John Virgo. It's JV's birthday today. If you're watching out in Spain, John, hope you're having a good day. And, of course, it was also Willie Thorne's birthday, wasn't it? It would have been 71 today. John's great pal, great character in the game, great player. He actually won one of these Hong Kong invitation events, Willie, in the 80s.
Now, has he left the bottom red here? I don't think Judd will find it easy to refuse it. If it does go, maybe it's not on. Maybe the 2 reds are not allowing it to be potted. Yes, that's a good safety shot. That's troublesome. He can get to reds, but not very many that could bring him a safety shot back to bulk, or if any, in fact. Once again, Tatiana Wollaston looking to see the line, because there could be a replacement here, and she wants to be sure of where it is.
touch and ball.
Well, the cue ball was travelling there, and had the enough not happened, he probably would have left the red anyway. And again, this is that same range where Judd is very dangerous, especially with the cue ball in hand.
One.
Well, the blue is not a certainty, of course, and he will be trying to land on a red, so should he miss, I suppose. I mean, he could play in behind green and yellow from the blue, which is maybe not the sort of shot Judd would have played going back to the times when he wasn't winning. Blue, I'd fancy him to pot, but it may have been just a route into the frame for Wilson, is with Judd's thoughts. Didn't ever threaten the red. The line was just off, and as you saw, not pasty enough either, so he might try this one more time if he feels that the shot's on behind the brown to hit the bottom right-hand red. But it's the same story, that he has got a clear shot at red, so we'll see how this goes on attempt 2.
Yeah, okay. Judd. Yeah, okay.
Nicely done. It was almost worth the 4 points for him to learn the speed and the angle. He could be in there again here. Clip off that top red on the right cushion might send the cue ball back to where it's just come from. I think he's deciding to play up into the top right corner instead. I think a lot of safety shots, if you look at them, players are if they can't get a snooker, they're looking to put the cue ball onto one side of the table where it's quite congested for the comeback safety shot. And here, clearly, there's nothing on the left side he can get to. No, 3 reds definitely in play on the right-hand side. He can hit those on the way back up. And that's why he's not played it. Just feel that Judd is getting the better of this little exchange. Whether it amounts to him getting the first chance is another thing.
Yeah, something he's developed a lot more patience in this side of the game than when he was a sort of young, raw, very talented potter.
Well, Gary Wilson 4.
Well, he was getting better at the exchange until that. Now, I mean, he was willing that cue ball to stop there. He just felt on this very slick table it was always going to topple into the pocket. But the safety shot here could get in behind yellow and green. It's a good line. It's a good shot from Gary Wilson. I know the pot was also played, but that in-off has kind of turned the safety exchange around now.
Just while he ponders this, the arena here, capacity of 5,000, and the prize money has jumped up from 380,000 last year to 700,000 this year. The first prize rising by 80,000 to 180. So it's a big, big event, this.
Well, no miss. Gary Wilson.
Well, I mean, he got the line right, but it's a very sort of sharp twice across angle this he's trying to find, isn't it? He's zigzagging the cue ball towards the reds.
Gary. Foul. No miss.
I tell you, it really is an odd. The first angle, he's hitting the cue ball sort of almost sort of horizontal into that first cushion, really, and it's just sliding off the 2 cushions that follow, and yeah, it's not a simple shot, this. Just can see that this is not the most natural angle he's ever had to play a shot at. This is proving costly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of points being given away, the in-off in the first place, and now another 14 from this snooker.
I think that just underlines how well Gary Wilson played the shot before, because Trump looked in quite a bit of trouble there. Eventually hit one. It's a big shot, this. It just passes the red, goes to this corner pocket. Very nice.
1.
Wouldn't have minded the cue ball to go a little straighter on the pink ball than it's got. It's got a bit too much angle here. Just chipping away, though, with a 30-point lead, and those fouls from Trump out of the escape snooker, a big part of it.
Gary Wilson, it must be remembered, he turned pro when he was young, 2004, still a teenager, but he had 7 years off the tour till he got back on 2013. So, you know, he could have just drifted away from the game, but managed to turn it around. That didn't threaten, though. Funny frame, this. We had quite a scrappy opener. Then Trump made the 1-4-2, and now another rather disjointed frame. Yeah, I mean, when Trump turned pro, he was even younger than Wilson. When he turned pro, he was 16 and came in having won everything at junior level, including national titles and international titles. And he admitted he thought it might be quite straightforward, but soon found out, no. Meanwhile, he's picked out a plant here.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be a dead plant. He wouldn't have been playing it otherwise. And it's so tempting to drop him behind the blue, but clearly he might have designs on scoring. Well, he is dropping in there.
Judd Trump, 1.
So it is a continuation of it being an odd frame, really, in that a lot of the points are being accumulated through fouls.
Yeah, that first season for Judd, his first match was against Fergal O'Brien. You know, and he came in thinking, oh, these old guys, I'll beat them all. Well, you know, obviously he's coming up against one of the consummate match players there. And over time, of course, he's learnt that game. He can play that game now. There's been a lot of replacements, haven't there, for Tatiana Wollaston in this frame. Here's another one.
Terry, can you please double check? Okay. Too much, turn a bit. Okay.
Yeah, so many players do that. They, on the replacement, they actually ask you to be corrected in a way that does not actually suit them. No, he said it's like you've taken it over too far there, so he almost had a clearer shot than he would have expected. But that's the honesty of the players. Either way, virtually the same result. Actually, I mean, you could have almost played those two shots and thought they were just a replay. The second one. So yeah, these frames are all different. We saw the beautiful total clearance in frame 2, but there's lots of ways to win and lose frames of snooker. This is all about the penalties. But this time Judd is receiving, sitting in his chair after that plant that he rolled in the snooker. This is better.
Yeah, still 10 reds on the table.
Well, what about this? A plant? The two reds not close together this time. Right, what about that? I think Gary Wilson was happy to leave that. I mean, He didn't really give any consideration to those balls down the bottom cushion into the right corner.
Developed the black as well, so out of nowhere Trump has got in. It's a tough table still, but chance to pot a few.
8. 9. $60. 70.
I think it's looking good for Trump here, but actually the reds become quite awkward from probably the next one in the middle of the table onwards. It'd be different if he was in front by a few, but he's still a handful behind. So it would be quite an effort to make a frame-winning break here.
$24.
I think you want to leave an angle on the green, but he's actually overhit it slightly. He's a bit straighter than he would hope to be. End of break.
27.
Yeah, 45 each, still plenty on, albeit not in great positions at the moment.
Judd Trump,
On these
27.
frames where you just need focus and patience.
I think it's important to understand that Gary Wilson, as well as he pots and scores, he can hold his own in all departments. You know, again, that was quite a good safety shot he played. And so was that as a comeback shot from Trump. Very, very good.
Well, Judd Trump 4.
Maybe they know it's JB's birthday. It's another in-off out of nowhere, really. Just turned a bit this frame. Wilson seemed to be in kind of control of it. Now he's behind.
It's been good safety here. This is another very fine shot, isn't it? Okay, he has got, I think, access to the top right-hand red, but doesn't mean he can do a great deal with it. How do you get back to vault from it? And these are all as played, these shots, from both players. Oh, double kiss. All control of the balls and where they finish has been lost.
Frame 3 then of this best of 7 encounter in the balance. There's 4 points in it. Still plenty on. 1 each between Judd Trump and Gary Wilson. Still 1-1 between John Higgins and Ali Carter on table 2. Still to come. After Trump, it's Karen Wilson against Matt Selt, and table 2 after Higgins Carter is Wu Yize, Pang Zhengzhou.
A good shot that, wasn't it? Very aggressive. Didn't have to play the pot there. So an interesting frame this, with quite a lot of points already racked up by both players, but still the frame seemingly in the balance. Judd now taking low value colours here, so just a few in front. And those 2 reds on the right are still a problem for both players. They're tying each other up.
Seven. Eight.
Nice, developing a couple of reds. So things looking up now for Trump.
14.
Having been firmly on the back foot for most of this frame. In all sorts of trouble at times.
I think this is the point, isn't it, with Judd? He looked at the opening red that he potted. He looked at all the safety options, felt that there was a pot on. You know, he's an incredibly dangerous player. Hard to contain, I think, for long periods. That's one of the big strengths he's got. Finds ways to just keep potting balls. I think, you know, in general, he's got a good defensive game. He's got a fine safety game. He's able to mix it, but then he can just up the pace and take a shot on like he did that red to middle. Still got more to do here. It's not a strong area of the table for Judd. He's got to play right-handed down here, or use the rest if he can't reach it.
21.
And of course the other red is that he's got the same problem. Anything down that right side as we look into the right corner is not an easy area for Judd. It's a weak spot for him. He uses the rest as a right-hander, so it just means he's awkwardly placed when he's getting on these reds. He probably end up playing it right-handed down the cushion, I think, this shot, if he gets behind the red. Yeah, well, I'm afraid he's not on it well. So the frame is not over. This can be missed. Just.
29.
Yeah, and it was frame bull. I mean, he can roll the black in as well. There's actually 27 on now, of course, because he's potted that red. Black's in, so... Well, he's had to work hard, hasn't he, in this frame? Very different to the previous frame, where he made a total clearance of 142.
36.
But it's gone the same way.
It's a good visit, this. Very good visit, where the balls were. Still potting balls now, but you know, I didn't really think when he came to the table he was going to do this. I don't suppose Gary Wilson thought it either, because it was a long safety battle and all of a sudden he just sprung into life.
Yeah, it didn't sort of look when he came to the table, the sort of single visit was likely. But this is Judd Trump. And the crowd are enjoying watching him clearly here.
Trump, 41.
He has Hong Kong residency, of course, so we'll get a lot of support here. And you can hear the applause as he wins quite a lengthy frame to lead Gary Wilson 2-1. So Trump is back and he's leading 2-1.
Judd Trump to break. Quietly, please.
Maike Fu not in the tournament, but he will be doing an exhibition in a few days' time with Jimmy White, who's popular everywhere, of course. And as we know, beat Neal in a final here in the 80s.
Well, this is concerning. This red going towards the middle, that's an error. An early error right when Gary Wilson needed to stand firm, I think.
One. Six. Seven. Twelve. Thirteen.
And he's gone over too far there, past the blue in which he played on, and now he might have to play the blue into the right corner here.
Meanwhile, John Higgins has won a tight third frame on the blue against Ali Carter. So Higgins, the World Open champion just a few days ago, leads 2-1 on table 2. And the winner of that match actually plays either Karen Wilson or Matt Selt.
90.
Well, he must think that the plant is there. I don't know if the pink respots, whether that would complicate matters or it goes on the black spot, but that really does make things awkward, in fact, with the black
25.
spot tied up with the red next to it.
26.
Played it with left hand reverse side. That's a great split. That is deserving of being on a red, but the problem of the high value colours is still there. I mean, he really did make great contact with the bunch. And he had no choice but to play on the black, I feel. this is good from Trump. You know, he's played some good stuff here, I feel. You know, the obvious stuff with the break.
39.
At 1-4-2, and now
40.
you know, what he's done after sort of bouts of safety. It's like a coiled spring, isn't he?
Yeah, and he lost for him relatively early last week, round 3. Didn't play the Welsh the week before, but I guess the good news with that is you get a little chance to recharge the batteries. It's a big, big time in the season, clearly,
47.
leading into the World Championship. But these Players' Series events are huge in their own right.
48.
Now, is he on this? When the black respots, is he still on the red?
55.
I think the answer is yes. It's quite tight, but he is able to pot it.
56.
He will need a little bit more, though. And the reds are not simple to get on from here. Straight on this. And these are colour with this next red of
64.
fairly high value. He's not won the match
60.
yet, but I think he's played really well today, Trump. Early pressure from Wilson, who's not done a lot wrong himself, missed a couple. Yeah, this is very good. Finding ways of making breaks.
71.
Yeah, a clean kill after that scrappy previous frame. Still work to do to make another century, but it should be 3-1 anyway.
72.
And it means, of course, it should be just one from victory. And a meeting with his good friend, best friend, Jack Lazowski.
75. 76. 82.
Well, it looks like he's probably trying to nudge the red away from the pink. Although it's hard to see how that would work out very easily. It's a clever shot because he played the nudge, and I think he also thought, well, if I miss it, I'll play it in such a way I'll get on the other red.
87. 88.
Well, what a break, but how's he going to turn this into a century, because that red has been nailed to the pink for most of it. Oh, that was quite vicious, I thought.
He did well not to put his shoulder out playing that. He was a great effort, that, wasn't it?
It was a real sort of snap at the ball, wasn't it, to try and get the backspin.
Well, hang on. It was close. So no century, but a dashing 95 from Judd Trump. He's playing some seriously good stuff here at the World Grand Prix, and he's won from victory, leading 3-1. First night of the World Grand Prix here in Hong Kong. Judd Trump, the #1 seed, leads Gary Wilson 3-1. He's made breaks of 1-4-2 and 95. He's won a tactical frame as well. Wilson did win the opener, but he needs to find something now. Trump looking pretty irresistible, it's got to be said. Wilson's highest break, that 56 in the opening frame.
Well, the match clearly not over at 3-1 in a best of 7. But one thing I will say, Gary Wilson, be aware how sharp Judd Trump looks in all departments here. And he looks good, and he'll have to play some of his best snooker to turn this around. Clearly wasn't happy as soon as he hit that one, but he's not done any damage.
Just on John Higgins, by the way, he's 2-1 up against Ali Carter, but his highest break's only 33. Carter made a 137, so it shows he's won a couple of tactical frames, which you'd, I guess, expect Higgins to.
It's a good double. He can't fit the cue ball in behind the green because he nudged it to the cushion. So he might have to go for the brown to middle here, I suppose. This is all good stuff, isn't it? Really good. I mean, there's a real example of getting in from absolutely nothing. Just to, for many players, a speculative double to middle.
6.
A couple of shots later, bang in amongst them.
The 142 he made, by the way, that's his 31st century he's made in the World Grand Prix over the years. He was tied with the Rocket, 14. But of course he's not here. But to be honest, I mean, most tournaments suit him, don't they? And certainly in the last decade or so. I guess the one is the biggest, isn't it? The World Championship. He was disappointing there last year, lost in the quarterfinals to Jack Jones.
90.
I think with Judd, I mean, he's won everything and he's going to continue to win a lot of events, but it would be hard if you think 5 years down the line, just say, to think he might only have won one world title. Seems unlikely, doesn't it? I say only, of course, it's a very difficult thing for anyone to win, but he feels like he'll be a multiple champion, but he hasn't achieved it yet.
27.
2 finals he's lost were to John Higgins and Ronnie O'Sullivan, but I mean, you don't expect to have easy matches by that stage. Anyway, that's a long way off, really, for him, because there's so much snooker to play before then.
This is really such good play from Trump, the way that he, as I said earlier on, just unleashes this burst of pots. But where is the next pot coming from? I'm not sure about that red. He might have to play it with a trace of left-hand side if he's going to make that into a pot. I think the other red is partly in the way of the angle required. That red goes past the pink. We've got a bird's eye view of it, but even then, you know, the pink, it's not impossible that he could hit the pink on the way through, so I think he's trying to take it to middle instead. So he missed one. He hasn't missed many lately.
Just shows just getting a good split in terms of the next shot. It's not necessarily how the red's open, it's been on the next red nicely. Can make a big difference. Could easily have been end of match.
it's starting to take its toll. I thought he played well early, but the biggest problem Gary Wilson has, and apart from Judd, his opponent, as Dave pointed out earlier, you know, he's had a bad 2025. He's not winning matches. You know, losing can become a habit, the same way winning can, and he hasn't been winning many. But at least that mistake didn't cost him. He's still in there with a squeak here. But I would say one more mistake where the bullseye could be his last.
One.
Well, that's an absolutely storming pot. If you can follow it up here with the black and land behind the red, it is an excellent opportunity created. And that's good stuff. So now, having been on the ropes for a couple of frames, this has turned up this chance. He's created it. Now he's got to take it.
Nine.
Yeah, I mean, the initial pot was one of the shots of the match, and he may just keep him in the match if he can keep going now. But if he were to lose the match, then he'd obviously be out of his hands in terms of whether he'd be seeded at the Crucible, because he won't be in the Players' Championship or the Tour Championship. And other players around that bubble, that top 16 bubble, chance to go past him. 15th on the projected list at the minute.
$22. 23.
Well, he's not on the red perfectly. Got the red up the table into the yellow pocket if he wants to play. Of course, the red drop into the opposite middle. And I think he feels this red is gettable to the middle. I think he's playing this. Quite surprised he played that like that, because he's pushed the other red into a safe spot. Maybe he felt there was nothing he could do. This is a great shot, though. Terrific positional shot, that is.
36. $37. $42. $43.
Once again, not an easy shot. He missed a black, not quite the same as this, but down that same line earlier. I think it might have been in frame one, in fact. Not missing this one, though.
49.
Might have to play a double on that left-hand red to right middle here. He's tried to move in instead. What a shot that is. That is fantastic.
56.
Could not have been played better. So the double might be a factor this time. I don't know what else he can do here as far as keeping the break going. Trying to really unleash something on this. Yeah, it's going to be the double. This would win him the frame, I think, because he's likely to be on the next colour. It's been a fabulous break. This is probably the best of the match. I know Trump made a 1-4-2, but there's something about this break. Back to the wall stuff. A lot of safe reds. It's been a gem.
Yeah, I mean, what determination he's shown. It's almost like, I'm not going to leave the table till the frame's done,
60.
right from shot one. A terrific long red. So already a snooker required.
67.
Gary Wilson firmly on the front foot here. Despite how well Trump's played, he can't do anything when he's sat in that seat.
70.
Trump, though, he went into the res, didn't he? On another day, could have landed on an easy one. He tried the one to right middle, and it didn't go in.
74.
Great opening red, though, wasn't it, from Wilson after that? He rolled it in, and the balls were all on cushions, the reds. You know,
79.
it's been absolutely outstanding, this break.
It's what he's capable of.
85.
Hasn't shown much of it of late, but this has been fantastic. Right to the last positional shot to get on the black. What a wonderful, wonderful break that is from Gary Wilson.
92
A 92 clearance, and he's still in this match. Judd Trump's lead is reduced to 3-2. Judd Trump was a strong favourite at 3-1, how well he played to get there, but Gary Wilson just pulled off. Fantastic 92 clearance, full of great shot making.
Thank you, frame 6.
Full of determination as well. 3-2 it is to Trump. He needs one more to reach the last 16 here at the World Grand Prix. The thing is, players' form comes and goes. We saw it with Stephen Maguire, didn't we? He came back to form at the Welsh Open. Ali Carter's come back to form last couple of tournaments. So although Gary Wilson, you know, struggled for results, you know, at any point it could return. He's certainly good enough. He's got the 3 ranking titles already to prove that. Just looking for something to happen in one of these big events. He can just turn around a whole season.
One.
Well, that bump has not worked out too badly. The cue ball looked destined to end up in the bulk area. Yeah, he's on a bit of a roll at the moment, Wilson, and I think Trump, that was, even though he's 3-2 up, looked a little anxious sitting in his chair between frames. He looked so confident the way that he was playing to go 3-1, but that last frame had just set him back, although this is end of break.
6.
But he knows that Wilson is playing better. And that's a slight concern.
Gary Wilson 6.
Yeah, that last frame, Gary Wilson, he was a bit like one of those toys you wind up and then it just sort of goes off. He was just unstoppable, wasn't he? Incredible shots he was pulling out at the end. Determined, as I say, to win it in that visit.
Well, the plant obviously was set, and now it takes the brown to middle here. It's landing on a red. It's quite an important shot. He has to get this.
Judd Trump 1.
The first sign of any weakness there from Trump, I think, in the whole match. He'll be getting a concern. I think he just knows what Wilson's capable of, and he started to show it. Did not want to give him this chance straight back after the previous frame.
Six. Seven. $14. 15.
Kind of tried to jump the cue ball over the red slightly there, and he didn't quite go through with the shot. But you can do that. You're not allowed to jump over the ball you're playing, but you can afterwards. The cue ball can jump over balls if you hit the ball that is on. He's having a swing at a few, isn't he? And that could take him back into the match. Whether he can go through with this and get the next
20.
frame one as well as this one, of course, remains to be seen. But this is very good from Wilson. Until that.
Gary Wilson 20.
Just feel that, you know, still fighting the game, chasing the game, and then the reality is he can get himself right back into it and possibly win it.
Be interesting to see how Trump feels here. The energy has kind of changed. Gary Wilson has done that, but he's back in his seat now. Just to say, Ali Carter, the second century made against Higgins was 120 to add to the 137, so 2-2. Carter doing the heavy hitting, but still all square.
That's not bad.
8. Nine.
So there's a little bit more pressure on Judd Trump now than perhaps in the middle of this match, now that Wilson has started to fight back. Those 7 reds in the middle of the table, that they're kind of, well, they're beautifully spread, but they're not necessarily that easy to get behind. They're all covering each other.
70.
So I don't know that it's very easy to pot one without opening them up. This could be the one of those reds, the one directly below and to the left of the pink. That might go to the right middle. It's gone for the nudge. Very good.
24.
Got that cue ball right in amongst the reds there.
25.
So now a match-winning chance. It's been a very good match, entertaining, I think. I expected it to be that, and it's lived up to the billing for me. I'm not saying it's over yet, because you've got to take these.
$32. 33.
I think it's key that the red below the pink to the right of it there slightly now pots. It brings the other 2 reds right into play.
41.
So this could be it. Hard to see where it goes wrong if you're Gary Wilson, hoping that it might. Because the reds are absolutely prime now and the lead's 22. We need 3 more reds.
47. 48.
That's the problem, as well as Wilson was playing for a frame and a bit. When you're a frame from defeat, it can just be one mistake, and he missed a red. And I doubt whether he would expect to come back to the table now. He has to be ready in case he does.
55.
But time's running out here.
56.
Yes, he missed that red, didn't he, to left corner there when he was just starting to show his best form, Wilson, and that set him right back. He's not really had any play in the match since.
52.
This red is match ball.
63.
Judd Trump has Hong Kong residency. He came here to launch the event a couple of weeks ago. He clearly wants to do well here. But aside from that, it's a huge tournament now. 180,000 the winner. Another big title
69.
in his sights. Just left this awkward as he looks to finish with a century. The red stays out.
Judd Trump, 69.
And Wilson, I think, will play on, 44 behind.
Thank
He's come a long way for this match, hasn't he, from the UK, and he may as well. 44 in it, like you say, it's possible free ball connotations, but some members of the audience thinking that he went for the pot there, but of course snookers are required. He's got one, but I don't think this is going to test Trump as far as hitting it. There's always a chance of going off here into the top right pocket, but he's played it gently. Might have done had it been more pace.
Well, let's not forget Gary Wilson, one of the tournaments he won, Scottish Open last season in the semis. In the decider, he needed 3 snookers against Show You Long, got them.
Yeah, I think you're asking for a lot, aren't you? But it's just worth a try, you know. Once in a few hundred, you'd probably win a frame like this against Judd Trump.
Yeah, Trump just needs to keep his discipline. Don't go sort of whacking the balls around, because things can happen then. They can go in, the wrong ones.
Yeah, Nopon Sankar won a frame in the Welsh from needing 4 snookers on the last red, which that's not happening very often. Might be able to get one behind the yellow here. I think Trump's going to be the man to beat, isn't he, this week again? I mean, on the basis of this, you know, if he wins, it just reads like a 4-2 victory in a match he should have won. But actually, it's been an excellent game. Wilson's played better than I've seen him for a while. Trump has looked really dangerous when the chances have come. They've been missed 1 or 2, but literally that's all.
Yes, and assuming that he is the winner, what a prospect it will be on Thursday when he takes on Jack Lisowski, his best pal. They've had a lot of memorable matches. Of course, Trump's beaten him in 3 ranking finals. But this will be a big stage for those two to strut their stuff. Gary Wilson hoping, of course, for a twist in the tail before then. Nearly got him in a nasty one behind the yellow, didn't he? That could have been nasty with the red near the black, but he could just hit it off the top cushion. Well, this doesn't help Gary's cause.
No, he's in one now, and the likelihood is this will be his last shot. Well, he hasn't left it.
Well, your wish is my command, it would seem. He pointed to where he wanted to finish. A little swerve from Trump. Ooh, just got it.
The green and brown are in good positions, actually, for getting snookers. How many he'll need, I don't know, because he's going to hit most of them, Trump.
Hang on, he's not the yellow in. Oh, who saw that coming? Is it a free ball? Not quite.
Gary Wilson, 4.
Oh,
that's frightening. I mean, as you say, free ball could have happened. You can't really see that happening. Had he left one, I mean, he'd have had to try and pot the colour as a free ball there. Deciding he's going to try and pot this now, and he's got to take something high value. Surprised he decided to pot that, actually. It was a bit of a mistake from Trump, you know, letting the balls run. We saw an extraordinary enough earlier on from Zhang Anda, where he was playing Jack Lisowski, who needed 1 snooker on the pink and black, and he just went in off when it was just a direct in off to the pocket. A terrible mistake to make. Even Jack referenced it in his post-match interview as an odd one. It was.
so it's 2 snookers, 34 the difference, as you see. He's not 35 on, there's 27 on. Gary wishes there were 35 on, but it's 27.
Gary Wilson, 6.
I think Gary Wilson is on the brink of conceding there. Little swerve acquired. round the blue. Too much. I mean, there's no harming him in doing this, is there? Worth a tries. You know, he's managed to get some penalty points back from the yellow being knocked in.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd have shaken Zhou Yulong's hand last season in Edinburgh, he wouldn't have won that tournament, clearly. In fact, he's done it already. We'll tell him you can do it again. Not now, though. Trump's not the yellow in. Seems unlikely, 36 in it, 25 on. So the task has become more difficult, certainly.
Trump, 2.
So it's going to be Judd Trump's day. It's been a terrific match, this.
3.
It really has. It's been enjoyable, and Trump coming here as one of the tournament favourites looks sharp to me.
Judd Trump, born in August 1989. That's the same month as the only other ranking event in Hong Kong. This is, of course, been a long wait to come back here. And he's got to be the favourite. Wilson, meanwhile, still not giving it up.
Yeah, I mean, now I really think that he has got little or no chance now. I mean, you're talking, I don't think he wants to leave the arena. That's all I can imagine what it is. But he'll have to if there's no balls left.
4.
Yeah, I mean, he's 35 behind with 18 on. So 3 snookers on the blue. Or 4 snookers on the blue, is it?
Gary Wilson, 4.
And a miracle, Dave. Okay, there's one of them. Perfectly with his rights to try his best, though. Why wouldn't you? Might be able to lay one here, but wouldn't even be that difficult, I don't suppose, to hit.
This is the problem. I mean, it's going to have to be fiendish snookers, isn't it, to outfox Trump? So seems very unlikely. We'll see. Trump's not going to, as I say, he's not going to stop whacking the balls about. Could be one here, though.
Yeah, it'd be one here, all right. And it's the same story. He's got to be really tight behind the black. Blue has got to be away from the cushion a little bit. So one snooker, well, one cushion escaped this snooker. He's going to have to keep them coming here, Wilson. I think he'll get his form back, you know. I think he's played all right today, you know. World Championships coming up. He'd be a dangerous player in those.
5.
Well, that can't help. 30 behind with pink and black. Best of luck.
Gary Wilson, 5.
Still playing on, though. But in goes the pink, and Judd Trump is the winner. Highly motivated here in Hong Kong. where he is a resident now, and the crowd clearly giving him plenty of support. That have liked what they've seen today. The 1-4-2, the highlight. He beats Gary Wilson 4-2.
Judd, it really did feel as though you got home support tonight. Great reception.
Yeah, it's a great reception to walk into that kind of atmosphere. So it kind of gives you a buzz. There's a bit of added pressure as well, I think, when you're out there and you just want to kind of get that first game out of the way. It's a big tournament now. I think big prize money, great arena, great city. So it's turned into an amazing tournament.
And what's brilliant is everyone's heard you waxing lyrical about Hong Kong in the past, but until you've come for the first time, as I have done this last couple of days, you don't really get it. It really is a very special place, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible place, and I've always said even before I even contemplated coming to live here, that how much I love coming here. And I think everybody that I've spoken to says the same. There's so much to do, there's so much to see. The place is buzzing, I think, which should suit you. I think there's a lot of energy in Hong Kong, I think, and there's so much to see and do, and especially when the weather is good, there's a whole kind of mix of things you can do in Hong Kong. So I think everybody that comes here loves it, and I think that snooker is very fortunate to get to come to places like this, and I'm glad such a big event has been taken here.
And you've said many times in the past that you feel snooker deserves its chance to be a little bit more glamorous, and we get an insight to that every year when we go to Ali Pali, a venue that you love. It's a big deal for our little sport to come to a place like this, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's massive because yeah, as you said, I really only feel like maybe Ali Pali is one of the only real kind of venues where you kind of feel the razzmatazz and you feel how big the tournament is. And when you come to a place like Hong Kong, and it's kind of, for me, these kind of places are where you dream of playing snooker. I think it's nice to have these historic venues in the UK and around the world, but to get to come to new places and get to experience the world in such a special place is kind of the icing on the cake.
Now, there's loads to talk about with you and the World Grand Prix. I'll never forget the way you mounted that comeback and won it so well in Llandudno before it was an official ranking event. You've won it 3 times. You've been in the final the last 2 years. In a funny kind of way, this is your most successful event.
Yeah, it's strange, really, because it's never really had a kind of home for that long at any venue, but I seem to do really well in the tournament. So I'm not sure what it is. I mean, this is one of the more kind of historic events. I think it goes back a long way. There's some greats that have won this event, but I always kind of go on about it. But whenever a tournament goes somewhere for the first time, I seem to have a good record, and that's always in the back of my mind. There's kind of a hunger to be the first person to win that event.
Now, it's a nightmare matchup because he's one of your best mates. Have you got used to putting the friendship to one side, as you'll have to do again when you face Jack in the next round?
Yeah, I didn't know that it was going to happen until he won his game, and then I looked on Twitter and I seen that I'd play him if I won, so I was a bit disappointed. I still obviously had a lot of work to do to beat Gary, but yeah, I mean, it's someone that I'd rather avoid until the final. But it's a great setting for both of us to play in Hong Kong. I mean, it is difficult, knowing that he needs to do well as well here, otherwise he can't get in the players. So I mean, it's so difficult, but I've just got to go out there and try and forget that, and yeah, just try my best and see what happens.
Yeah, and you've got too much respect for him to do anything other than play your best. And the other little subplot here, 100 centuries is now beginning to loom on the horizon. £100,000 for the first player who can do that this season. It's definitely on the cards at the moment. Now you're up to 80 odd, isn't it?
I mean, there's a chance. I don't think there's a great chance. I think these tournaments are obviously start kind of last 32, last 16, last 8. It's very difficult to make century breaks against the top players as well. So I think it's going to go down to the wire. I think I'd have to have an amazing run in the World Championship. Maybe it would come in the final. I think that's how kind of tight it would be if I was to get it. But yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's kind of on the back burner, really. I'm not really thinking about it that much, but if I was to come into the World Championship, it adds a little bit of excitement around for kind of everyone around the game.
Just a little bit more pressure, just to crank it up all the more at Sheffield. Well done, a great win in your home tournament, and good luck against Jack. Cheers, thanks, Judd.
Thank you.